Keegan, we are a well-documented dad pod here. We're both relatively new fathers, really loving that whole process. And I thought it was so cool seeing on your Twitter, after winning the BMW Championship, you shout out to your wife, Jillian, your sons, Logan and Cooper, the way they decorated your 2018 BMW Championship trophy. So what is this Logan's stuffed animal, Puda? Am I saying that right?
Puda, yeah.
Puda, okay. So give me a little backstory on Puda.
So Puda is a big player in our house. He's been Logan's blanket or teddy bear that he sleeps with forever. And so they went in. They didn't tell me. Logan started to tell me on Saturday night, and my wife stopped him. But then I had him tell me. My wife didn't want me to know anything about this. But they took my 2018 trophy, and they put Puda in there. And Logan spent the night without sleeping with Puda.
Wow, that's big.
Which was like. Okay. I couldn't believe it. And then
things are looking up.
Yes, they plucked some hair off of my dog Penny and put it on top of it. If you zoom into that photo, you can see it, and as like a good luck charm, and so special. Like the winning as not a dad and then winning as a dad, it's not even close. But the funny story about, because my son is all jacked up about me winning, but after he says, but I really actually wish you didn't make these tournaments because then you'd be home. And I'm like, Logan, this is what you work hard, you get there. He goes, yeah, I get it, but that's great. But if you didn't make the tournament, you'd be home. I'm like, well, that's nice too.
Pretty sweet sentiment. Do you have the family with you this week?
They're coming on Friday, yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to pivot off of Puda.
Yeah.
It's hard to really to go to the next topic. But I actually want to circle back here. Like, Charlie, this is your first time meeting Keegan, nicest guy in the world, right? Like, so fun to talk to. And this guy, when he gets in match play mode, not the nicest guy in the world. This guy goes full laser beams.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if psychotic's the right word,
but
he wants to kill you if he's playing you. And I think that's such a great quality to have as far as your competitive spirit. Mm-hmm. I mean, we heard the USA chants last week. You're pumping up the crowd like it's a Ryder Cup last week in Denver. And I love that you're already in this mode, because I want to talk to you a bit about you being the Ryder Cup captain and potentially even the President's Cup vice captain or a player. How much, you're going to have to either cater down a little bit towards, being a little bit more even keeled as a captain, or are we going to see like the Luke Donald handshake right before the first round and just be like, sorry, pal. And we know you and Luke are buddies too.
Well, I think it's really important to be authentic as a captain, as a vice captain or a captain. I think anytime you try not to be yourself, it doesn't come off right to the team. Mm-hmm. So certainly, as a captain, you have to have a certain amount of poise and strategy to how you act. But I also am going to be myself. Yeah. And I think one of the reasons why they've chosen me to be captain is they want a little fire. Mm-hmm. This Ryder Cup at Bethpage is going to be insane. And the boys, they're all, most of the guys on the team that'll be on the team, they're such level, calm guys. Mm-hmm. And I love that about them. And I think I can bring a different side of a little bit more fire, a little bit more like getting the guys going, getting the crowd going.
Have you seen Old School?
Yes.
When Will Ferrell's in his underwear in the locker room and he's throwing chairs, everybody's got to keep their composure. Yes. That is what I'm picturing. Keegan Bradley's like Photoshop his head on like right before we go out.
I got to speak to Xander after he won the British Open, a second after he walked off the green, and he was talking to me and people like he just finished a practice round. It was bizarre. After I win a tournament, or forget about the British Open, you're so jacked up, and and he's talking to people and me as if we just ran into him on off this green right here. It was, so these guys, they're such good dudes, and like I look forward to being their captain.
And we definitely look forward to watching it on the way out. You are fourth in the FedEx Cup, and also number 4 is what the season win total potentially for the Patriots is going to be.
I know.
So, right, maybe 4.5. Yeah. Let's give them the half. Yeah. So the hook is there. Yeah. Are we taking the over?
I'm going to take the over.
We're going to take the over.
Yeah,
believe in it, because I'm a big North Carolina football sicko, and Drake May. All right, how are we feeling about Drake this far?
So I would love to see him play. I've seen him in the preseason, and like he seems to be getting better and better and better. And it's exciting for a Patriots fan because like there seems to be like extreme talent there. Because growing up where I grew up, there's no college football, so I didn't really see much of him play. But it's exciting time.
Yeah, he did a lot with hardly any talent at Carolina. So I think whatever he has with the Patriots, he'll be able to make it work. So.
I love it.
You got to give your Boston Common golf bit.
Oh, do we need to break up Boston Common? I think that people are asking questions as both of the FedEx Cup playoff events have been won by Frog. The Frog's a mascot.
Yes.
So double Frog winner. Like, do we need to break up the squad?
Are they too stacked?
No.
Are we too stacked?
Our whole entire team made it to Atlanta, which is pretty amazing. Yeah, it's going to be such a blast. I mean, Hideki was a late addition to the team, and we got a pretty good team.
Do you know anything about his IHOP stuff?
I saw it last week, and he eats Chick-fil-A every night. Is that what
I saw his translator today with 3 big gulp IHOPs in the hotel. So I just didn't know if this is something that you were aware of, that he's a big IHOP.
Maybe a Frog pregame meal.
Yes, perfect. I couldn't imagine eating that before playing a tournament, but yeah, he's got it figured out.
All right, buddy. Well, this has been great. You know, Keegan, I've known you for a long time. You've been a great mentor to me and somebody I could always go to about anything in the game of golf. And it's been a lot of fun watching you succeed. And I was pumped to see you get named captain. And I'm hoping to see you be playing vice captain very soon in Montreal next month.
Thank you, boys. I appreciate it.
Play well this week. Thanks for taking the time. What a fun conversation with Keegan Bradley. Really, really good dude. It's good to see him in good spirits.
I'm glad you got to see just how great of a guy Keegan Bradley is, why he's so well liked, why he was, named the Ryder Cup captain. You could see it through his personality, what type of guy he is. But when he gets on that golf course, it's a totally different human being, and I love that about him. I try to embrace that competitive spirit as well. So it's gonna be fun to watch, kind of him as a captain and maybe as a playing captain here pretty soon.
It's that Boston Common Frog mentality.
Yes, it is.
What I mean? Just second to none. So that was really fun chat with the BMW Championship winner, the man who was sitting 4th on the FedEx Cup points list, headed into the Tour Championship, and now we're going to get to a conversation with Andrew Green, the architect who did a restoration project in this last year on East Lake. A lot of interesting changes. Players have, seen it for the first time, have a lot of wide-ranging set of reactions to it. So it'll be an eventful week for the golf course itself, and we'll get to that conversation right now. All right, we were thrilled to be back here on the Smylie Show at East Lake Golf Club with Andrew Green, the man who's done some extensive work here. Andrew's done work at a ton of historic, amazing courses. Most recently, you're probably familiar with his work at Oak Hill for the 2023 PGA Championship that everyone really loved and enjoyed. Another Donald Ross course up there. But we also have some personal ties here. Mm-hmm. He's doing some work at Shoal Creek.
Yes.
Your home club.
Not yet, but we're getting there.
We're getting there.
Hopefully next year is, I think, maybe October is.
You got it. Yes.
Yeah.
And I got to say, in my research for this, I was thrilled to learn that I got to give a shout out to my wife here that you're a Hokie as well.
I am.
2 degrees from Virginia Tech.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, there's our ties.
Well, it's a lot of ties in
Hokies.
here. So Andrew, just to get started with, this week, we've heard some comments from some players now who've seen the course for a couple times. What's your reaction to what we've heard thus far to the work you've done here at East Lake?
Yeah, I think it's been interesting. The Oak Hill reaction was probably way too positive or good to ever think I could relive that. But I'm really trying to unpack it the last, 36 hours or so. And I keep thinking about this idea that, of course, they were familiar with the old East Lake, but now it's a real test. Mm-hmm. And we did things to really allow you to explore your entire game, and you have to hit shots that are testing those edges. And so I probably got them a little uncomfortable, not only in just the idea that it's new, the greens are really firm, but that they're having to hit shots they never hit before. And when we're doing renovation and restoration work, you've got a group of members that grow up at places, and so there's a lot of familiarity. It's not too far different from this, where the players were very familiar. And so understanding the golf course and trying to play shots that maybe they thought, they played before, and you can't play that shot now is interesting. I thought
Mike Tomlin could have very easily put this to rest and say that, Russell Wilson is the starting quarterback.
Mike Tomlin's going to look at, hey, Russell Wilson led that clean drive. I think that separates him enough to give him the starting job. But I think you're right that the leash is going to be pretty short. And if Russell Wilson doesn't look good, Steelers fans pretty quickly are going to be calling for Justin Fields because of his scrambling ability.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The leftover language would be the million shy of what Jefferson makes Jefferson a better player. If you want to believe that, I'm not sure I buy that he's that much better than CeeDee Lamb.
Tony Pollard's gone. He's now with the Titans. I was with the Titans a couple weeks ago. He'll be their starting running back there. They're going a different direction in Dallas, but it's all about CeeDee Lamb right now, the first of the other deals that they have to get done.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
If the U.S. gets to a bad start and they're down or close, I may double down on the second quarter because I know that that's when Steve Kerr is going to want to either A, if it's close, open it up. If they're losing, you got to get the lead because you don't want teams like it was in South Sudan that believe that they can win.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
Talking about the difference between Meyer Zoysia, which the fairways were, going to Zorro Zoysia, and then going from the mini birdie Bermuda.
Well, and I think that's actually playing a lot into what the players are seeing. Because when you put a little more slope contour and character into the golf course, when the grasses play firmer and faster, it just changes your mindset. The old Meyer in the fairways, you'd hit it and it land and that was about it. Maybe it rolled out a couple paces. Now the Zorro is a bit thinner bladed grass. It sits a bit more upright. The ball wants to chase a little bit more, but it still will hold different than a Bermuda grass fairway or a bent grass fairway. Great examples, 14 and 18, we put more slope in those landing zones, trying to get the ball to hang a little bit so that those shots, you got to judge that lie. The ball's chasing, but it's not just running in the rough automatically. So there's a nice balance there. With the greens, the Tiff Eagle tends to be a more stable turf for a warm season green than a lot of our other options at the moment. It's, grain, this year there's no grain. They're so young.
Yeah.
And a number of players have talked about that in caddies because they're like, well, how do we play the grain? There's no grain.
It's not settled in yet.
Yeah. So, but both of those grasses are really providing a great surface today and also great sustainability for the club.
You know what's back? How part of my take is what's back of the week?
Who's back of the week?
Zoysia's back.
Zoysia's so back.
Zoysia is back. You know how many clubs now that are just dying to put Zoysia in? And it's not the Zoysia that we grew up on where you're in the golf cart and you're driving down the fairway and it's just going back and forth.
Yeah.
There's different strands of this Zoysia now that are fantastic. I know that Shoal Creek, we're looking at the Stadium Zoysia, which is a darker green, which I think you can get down pretty tight, kind of similar to what Eastlake has out here with the Zorro.
Well, we have a different Zoysia grass around the greens, actually. Prism.
The Prism, right? Super tight, too.
And that's actually was bred as
cool.
a putting surface Zoysia.
No wonder.
So you could actually take it way down.
That's why it's going to play fast. That's why it can play fast. Because most times when you think about Zoysia, you think about that first bounce like you were talking about that just doesn't go anywhere. But when you have something that's that tight, this Prism Zoysia, first off, it looks amazing. It's going to look good on TV. But it plays really tight. The grain's not going to be a super big issue, but you're going to have to be able to clip it to be able to get spin on it.
Well, and that's, maybe this is getting a little off topic, but now the grass nerd in me is kind of working here. Is Zoysia for clubs in warmer climates, are we going to see more Zoysia greens and things like that, or is it like, is that becoming a competitor to Bermuda?
One here,
I'd say,
I think there's one in Atlanta
I think we're seeing where it's going.
Yeah.
Right? The technology and the breeding and what the growers are bringing to the table is outstanding. I mean, we've even got some of those zoysia grasses they're putting on bunker faces and not mowing an entire year because they just don't grow, which is phenomenal for maintenance and cost. And so there's a number of things we're trying. The problem is there's no magic grass. There's no magic turf. It all takes labor. It all takes work. It all takes, some sort of inputs, from either fertilizer, pesticides, whatever, to be good.
Yeah, it's funny, we're so many things on this pod, but what we are, we're grass guys.
We're big grass guys. Print the t-shirt, Zoysia is back. Right?
Zoysia is back. So where are you going to watch this tournament from? Are you going to be here all week? Are you going to watch on your TV and giggling? Where are you going to be?
Yeah, the plan's to be here all week unless I get run out of town. We were lucky enough to be able to rent a house here nearby that we can walk to the course. So I have my team here during the beginning of the week, and then my family's coming. I've got 4 guys on staff. My wife, who helps a ton. And then we just hired another guy that'll start in January. So we got some really good team members. And
your son to watch the Greater
my
Classic.
son, he's inbound at the moment.
Well, we just assumed your son was coming in just to see the fine work that you've done on this golf course. Then we find out, no, he's just here for the Creators Classic.
Absolutely, he cannot wait.
You could be watching Charlie play next year for all we know out here.
Let's start the movement right now. Let's get the campaign going.
They said you have to be lower than a 4 handicap, so your handicap management. I know you're a 1 now, but
the world's worst 1.
Yes.
Yeah. We need to have someone from the USGA on next to talk about how that score penalty system works. So we'll get to that soon.
All right, man. On the way out, I know you got some other projects coming up, so we might as well talk about the project that's near and dear to my heart, which is Shoal Creek. Just overall impressions of when you get on the property at Shoal Creek, and then where we are now, and kind of what you expect that place to eventually be like.
Yeah, so an amazing place. Hall Thompson, his vision there, incredible.
I met Hall as a kid.
Did you? Yeah, he's quite a character. So, trying to make sure that we stay true to the nature of his founding vision. A great place to go spend, some time playing the game of golf with some buddies, right? Having a good time. Hitting all the shots that you can think of. That's something that's really top of mind, trying to add more variety to the experience. A little bit of what you see here, a little more movement in some of the fairways, bringing the creek back.
Yes,
Shoal Creek.
Yes. Shoal Creek.
Feels appropriate.
Yeah. So we're going to open the creek back up on 7.
Because we had that tornado go through, because that had to be very odd as an architect when you get in and 15 holes don't match the rest of the golf course because a tornado ripped through and took out thousands of trees.
Insane, right?
Insane.
So all the greens will get reworked. We actually found, in this case, Bob Cupp, who was working with Nicholas, had drawn sketches of all the greens, and I'd actually drawn like a perspective of them.
Oh, that is so
sick.
So
we're not just going to sit there and build exactly what he had on there, because things have even changed in that period of time. But we've used that as a bit of inspiration, which is kind of cool. And so I think just more variety, more fun for the average player. A little tougher for you.
Yeah,
buddies there.
Great.
I think it's got a major championship pedigree, and we want to embrace that as well as just the great place that it is.
Gets me excited, Charlie. Gets me excited.
As it should.
This guy's playing the member guest coming up, so he's excited too to get his first eyes on it. Got to give a shout out to the superintendent out at Shoal Creek, James Carroll. That he's
a good man.
He's epic. He's also a guy I talk grass with, James and I.
I was there Monday with him. Yeah.
Talking grass?
Talking grass.
Talking grass.
New segment, Talking Grass.
All right, Andrew, thank you for your time. I know you got to start doing some scouting for this Creator Classic to make sure your son's all dialed in with who's who.
Sight lines, yeah.
Well, I appreciate your time, man. It's been a lot of fun to kind of get to know you, and then just this golf course, what we're expecting this week. So I appreciate you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
sharpest football contest show in the land. The Las Vegas Football Contest Show focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
Carlos Alcaraz has won the last two Grand Slam titles at the French Open on the clay and at Wimbledon earlier this summer. He enters as the favorite.
You have a bunch of depth there. Francis Tiafoe, Ben Shelton. They will likely play in round 3. The winner would play Djokovic, most likely, which would be an incredible match. I like Ben Shelton as a sleeper. If Djokovic is hurt, you never know. I think Shelton could actually be the guy that gets hot. The conditions favor him.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
When you're really, really amazing like this, people kind of take it for granted. Same with Ohtani, right? People will sort of see, oh, Ohtani did this, Ohtani did that, and it sort of, becomes normalized a little bit. But to put in context, Aaron Judge joins the 1,000 hit club, reaches, gets it done. So earlier this month, he was the fastest player to reach 300 home runs ever.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
The leftover language would be the million shy of what Jefferson makes Jefferson a better player. If you want to believe that, I'm not sure I buy that he's that much better than CeeDee Lamb.
Tony Pollard's gone. He's now with the Titans. I was with the Titans a couple weeks ago. He'll be their starting running back there. They're going a different direction in Dallas, but it's all about CeeDee Lamb right now, the first of the other deals that they have to get done.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Borrow a phrase from the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz. It is time to open up the club because we are headed into the weekend here on the Smylie Show, and a new special edition of sorts for the show. This Friday rendition that is both recapping some of the fun conversations we had on the week leading up to this, and then of course getting you ready for golf on the weekend, and of course a variety of other things. This week I'm hot on my boys, the Tar Heels. Got it done. Each one out in Minnesota last night. College football is here finally. Very, very excited about that. I am Charlie Hulme, back at home in North Carolina after 3 weeks on the road for the show at the FedEx Cup playoffs, which was a real thrill, something we're hoping to do more of next season. Smylie Kaufman currently roaming East Lake, covering the Tour Championship this weekend somewhere, either walking around or in a booth. And so let's get right to that Tour Championship action, because let's look at the top of the leaderboard with these starting strokes. And not a shocker, once again, to find Scottie Scheffler's name at the top of the board. He started at 10 under, fired the round of the day, a 6 under 65 yesterday, and now has a 7-shot lead at 16 under over second place. Xander Schauffele started at 8 under, shot a 1 under 70 yesterday. He is at 9 under. And Collin Morikawa shot 66 yesterday. That's a 5 under round that moved him from 4 under to 9 under. So that's what you're going to see kind of going out in the leader groups. We also have Adam Scott and Sam Burns, Wyndham Clark, Hideki Matsuyama, and Keegan Bradley tied for 4th at that score of 8 under. But it's Scotty out to a big lead, and that's one that if we've looked at Tour this year, you spot Scotty 7 strokes, it's pretty much over. You don't even need to spot Scotty strokes for the most part. We've seen a number of come from behind wins for Scottie Scheffler on Tour this year. But I know it's a Friday. I know there's a lot of golf to be played, but we're in a good position for Scotty to finally convert on a Tour Championship win after coming up short each of the past 2 years. Now, I think the question, must be asked, what's different for Scotty this year? Because this is a place where he's struggled in the past, and why did he get off to such a good start here? To me, the story of Scotty's round on Thursday, and really everyone in the field, is the state of this golf course and the way it's been restored in this past year by Andrew Green, who you just heard from in a couple of the preceding segments. And so what Andrew did is he took a 1949 aerial photograph of East Lake, And he tried to take the course back as much as he could to that vision. And so that meant moving bunkers around, messing with some different contours, changing the shape of some greens that had gotten very circular. But in a more modern sense, it meant regrassing for both performance and grass health long term. And anytime you do a regrassing on a course, no matter how good your resources are and you know what top notch the equipment you're using is and the grasses you're using is, there is a bedding in period that happens for that grass to sort of settle. And essentially what we're seeing is there is what is called thatch, which is sort of a layer of organic matter that lives underneath the surface for those grasses that courses over time that buildup happens. And it's sort of, there's a layer of give, so to speak, where that those green surfaces in particular are not so firm. So why does that matter? That feels like grass nerd stuff. We don't care. The reason why that matters is that these greens are exceptionally firm right now. And so what the tour did yesterday was, or I should say Thursday, was they put a lot of pin locations in the middle of these greens, which is easily accessible for tour pros, the best players in the game, to score. And the reason they did that is because with a lot of these approach shots, especially from longer distances, balls that are you know, depending on the angle of attack, these balls on firm surfaces are going to land and roll out a ton, and guys aren't going to be able to hold greens. And then you're looking at the course and the tournament and wondering if it's a really a fair test of these guys. What I heard from all these players coming off the course yesterday was that this was a good way to kind of ease into the tournament from a tour setup perspective. You had, you know, pins that weren't insanely difficult. You were giving guys chances to score. That's reflected with most of the leaderboard here. And so I think what that means is heading into the weekend is we could see some tee locations move back. We could see some pins pushed to more difficult places. But the product of making the pins easy on a Thursday is that you let the best player of the world go out and go pin hunting, and now he's 7 shots up, and this thing might be put to bed already. I don't think anything other than Scottie Scheffler hoisting his first FedEx Cup playoff trophy at the end of this weekend will be the end result at East Lake with this maiden voyage post Andrew Green's restoration. So hoping you all enjoy the golf this weekend and enjoy more of these special installments of the Smylie Show on Friday to get you ready for the weekend and the future. We got some fun stuff coming up next week, a Tour Championship recap, of course, but also prepping you for the NFL season. We have a special guest who had a ton of information for us and some good advice for fantasy drafts, things of that nature. So look forward to that next week. We appreciate you watching and listening, and we will talk to you right back here very soon.
For him.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
When you're really, really amazing like this, people kind of take it for granted. Same with Ohtani, right? People will sort of see, oh, Ohtani did this, Ohtani did that, and it sort of, becomes normalized a little bit. But to put in context, Aaron Judge joins the 1,000 hit club, reaches, gets it done. So earlier this month, he was the fastest player to reach 300 home runs ever.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
The leftover language would be the million shy of what Jefferson makes Jefferson a better player. If you want to believe that, I'm not sure I buy that he's that much better than CeeDee Lamb.
Tony Pollard's gone. He's now with the Titans. I was with the Titans a couple weeks ago. He'll be their starting running back there. They're going a different direction in Dallas, but it's all about CeeDee Lamb right now, the first of the other deals that they have to get done.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.